Hi guys, it's Norman Sullivan from Higher Ground Lifestyle. Tonight I want to quickly, or as quickly as I can, answer a question that comes up all the time. How fast can I go in my camper van? What is the speed limit for my camper van? There is a lot of confusion around this, and the confusion stems from the fact that the speed limit of your vehicle and the definition of your vehicle in terms of whether or not it is a motor caravan or not, motor caravan is the relevant legal definition here. Camper van means nothing in legal terms. What defines what a motor caravan is? And this concern that people believe that you are only driving a motor caravan if it says motor caravan on your V5 registration document. This is not true. I've heard people, especially when they're advertising vans, saying things like, for example, correctly registered as a motor caravan. It almost implies that if your vehicle's not registered as a motor caravan, it's in some way illegal. This is also complete rubbish. The description of your vehicle in a V5 document has one purpose and one purpose alone, and that is to identify what your vehicle looks like on the road. This is a vehicle that looks like a van with windows. It is white in colour, and that is so that the police and other agencies can readily identify a vehicle based on its description. It has nothing to do with either the insurance requirements for the vehicle or the speed limits of the vehicle. Those are defined by whether or not the vehicle is actually legally defined as a motor caravan. And it can be legally defined as a motor caravan without being called a motor caravan on the V5C. So how does that work? Well, the speed limits in this country are defined not by what it says on your V5C, but defined by the Road Traffic Regulations Act 1984, Schedule 6. This states and identifies the vehicles to which the national speed limit applies. Now, the national speed limit here is 70 miles per hour on a motorway, 70 miles per hour on a dual carriageway, and 60 miles per hour on a B road, plus all of the other various different speed limits that apply in built-up areas and other specified, defined areas. The vehicles that it identifies to which that national speed limit applies include passenger vehicles, motor caravans, or dual-purpose vehicles which are not drawing a trailer, where the vehicle also is not capable of carrying more than 8 passengers and has an unladen weight of less than 3.05 tonnes and an overall length of less than 12 metres long. So providing you fulfill those criteria, the national speed limit applies. Where it gets confusing is the definition of what a motor caravan is. Motor caravan is not a motor caravan because it says motor caravan on your V5 document. A motor caravan is a motor caravan because it meets the regulations of the Road Traffic Act that the relevant speed limit legislation directs you to. And that is the Motor Vehicles Type Approval Great Britain Regulations 1979. These are the definitions that are used to define a motor caravan in the context of the law and speed limits. The Motor Vehicle Type Approvals Great Britain Regulations 1979 describe a motor caravan as, and this is a quote, a vehicle which is constructed or adapted for the carriage of passengers and their effects, and which contains, as permanently installed equipment, the facilities which are reasonably necessary for enabling the vehicle to provide mobile living accommodation for its users. For speed limits, this definition takes precedent over the one given by the DVLA to classify the vehicle body type on your V5 ownership document. That is to say that if your vehicle meets this definition, then it is subject to national speed limits, irrespective of what it says on your V5C or your MOT. So, if your vehicle is less than 3.05 tonnes in weight, which most or indeed all of our T5, T6 vans should be, and less than 12 metres long, which all of our vans will be, and cannot carry more than 8 passengers, which none of our vans, I suspect, would be able to if they had permanently installed equipment, and they are constructed or adapted and include the facilities which are reasonably necessary for enabling the vehicle to provide mobile living accommodation, then the national speed limits apply. That is to say, 70 miles per hour on a motorway or on a dual carriageway. Of course, like all legal issues, the definition is subject to challenge and subject to scrutiny in a court, by a judge or by a sheriff or by some other legal professional. But I think the definition given in the 1979 legislation is considerably broader and therefore more sympathetic to motorhome, camper van, motor caravan users than the definition on the V5C, which is, as we've said already, irrelevant. Of course, one of the problems with the issue of the definition coming from the 1979 legislation is that the police, mobile camera vans, and other fixed camera units tend to use the V5 registration information as the database to determine whether or not a vehicle is breaking the speed limit. And this is why, on occasions, people will be travelling legally at 70 miles per hour in a dual carriageway, but they will be issued with a summons for breaking the speed limit, because the summons will state that the speed limit for this vehicle was 60 miles an hour. It is wrong. It says 60 miles an hour because it has assumed that the vehicle is a van. It does not know that the vehicle has been converted into a camper van. What happens in these situations is you appeal the decision, you provide photographic evidence that the van meets the definition of a motor caravan as defined by the relevant 1979 legislation, and hey presto, it will go away. And I have been aware of that situation 3 or 4 times now, and when it's been challenged appropriately, they have all disappeared. Of course, it's really frustrating that we have to challenge it. If the definition on the V5C was the correct one and it tied in with the speed limits, we wouldn't have to do this. But there's a reality just now. That's the way it is. So please, guys, don't get upset if you can't recategorise your van as a motor caravan, because it is difficult based on the current legislation, not least because of the need for a high top. It doesn't affect your insurance in any shape or form, and it doesn't affect your speed limits in any shape or form. But you must be able to satisfy yourself that you do meet those definitions within the 1979 legislation. So, in your properly, appropriately converted camper vans, enjoy 70 miles an hour when it's safe to do so in a dual carriageway. And thanks for listening. And apologies if that was a bit complicated, but it's the law. And in my experience, the law is never easy. Whatever you do, guys, stay safe. And remember, get your own independent legal advice if you think that's appropriate. I'm not a policeman, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not an insurance underwriter. But whatever you do, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Oh, and don't forget, if you enjoy what we do, and most of it's not me just talking to a camera, please do like our channel and have a look at some of the other videos on our camper van conversion project.